whatever.
So it's interesting. I think that Ryu's quite a good gangplank, and the reason that it didn't work in that last game, pretty much what the desk alluded to was composition firstly, but also the fact that Avant played to what was going to bridge the gangplank and cast it in the late game and basically cut it off at its roots, and that was dive bottom and keep the jungler down. Kept them busy, rotate around the map, and honestly it was Avant's game that they won, not Hellions that they lost.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how that one does change, as something is going to have to, as Kalista is going to be banned away. A lot of respect given to Stark in his second game now of the OPL after picking up a pentakill in game number 1. Of course, how many players have just jumped into a pro league and picked up a penta in their first game? I'm thinking like Bjergsen, EULCS on Syndra.
Safe to say not many, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably not. I think Wild Turtle as well springs to mind.
It's a rare thing.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Both of the tier 7 players at the time. Interesting stuff. Fiora is going to be banned away though, so Ryu not going to be on his split pusher of choice. They're on the top side of the map.
Yeah, so not going to have the Fiora, might even force him to default to Gangplank. Possibly just because he does want to split push, Rise the staple, take it away from Ryu ban. And one thing that's...
I find it so weird that you have to default to a Gangplank now in this particular matchup that we're talking about. But Malphite is going to be taken away. I like that ban, as Malaz was just too huge for Ryu to deal with.
I mean, he 1v1 to GP as Malphite in the top lane, so it says a lot about what a Malphite is capable of. You can't out-split push him once he stacks resistances. You can't out-teamfight a Malphite generally because he's just going to get onto the backline and you can't kill him. Better off taking it off the board.
Yeah, well, they are going to as Avant. The final ban comes through. It is going to be Lulu taken off the Rift. Of course, Destiny now moving back to support. May have potentially played it, but now it's wrecked there in the mid lane. So the things like LeBlanc, the Cassidons, back in his hands. But Hellions, of course, banning away the Corki last time. They are going to pick that one up. First round this time here, as Frey could play it, or Bomb, of course, there in the mid lane as well.
I mean, that's an interesting choice here from Hellions. They're leaving open the Alistar as well. Something that is of quite high priority. And I most like the Lulu ban here from Avant. They played it because they were first pick. They could look towards it in the middle lane. But now that they're on red side and it's not Destiny playing mid-rect, he loves to play these assassins. He's got Zed, he's got LeBlanc, he's got everything that can just get in your face and cause havoc. Lulu's very good at diffusing that.
Yeah, well, the lad's doing his cycle thing one more time. Is Chelby considering the Graves now? And look, one thing that I didn't quite like about the Gangplank was the fact that they picked it up with that Graves in the jungle. There's like no CC that you gain from that. So as far as that duo is concerned, they just don't have a lot to offer. So maybe with a different composition, things could work out. Something like a Heimerdinger, perhaps. I mean, shout-outs to Pastry Time. He'd be psyched about that. But Alistar is going to be locked in, and the Graves as well.
Yeah, so they lock in the Alistar. They pick up the Graves, taking it away from Cookie as well. Getting rid of another potential mid-game threat next to that of the Corki. I feel like it's going to be a Frey Corki as well, Bomb. Don't know if he can play it. Doesn't feel like it's something that he wants to be anyway, even if he can play that champion. And picking the Graves forces Cookie into one of two directions. It's the Lee Sin route or the Rek'Sai route. It's possible that he goes to Elise, but not as recommended. I feel like Cookie probably should just go Rek'Sai.
Yeah, just pick it up. Of course, hovering it at the moment. There's Bomb now to make his consideration. Would make sense if he picked up something like a support, perhaps.
Yeah, you could afford to go
everything
support.
flexy.
Or you could even just, I mean, Corki could be left up as a flex, so yeah, maybe go for like a Trundle.
Yep. Wouldn't be giving too much away if they locked in the Janna, because I have a feeling they'll be playing Janna. As that one is going to be the hover. That is game number 8 for Denian on Janna. And look, why not? Because he's been doing okay.
Why not? Janna's a good champion as well. Denian's been doing well on Janna.
Yeah.
The fact that he's had a ban away from him says a lot. And it's a pure disengage against a split push composition. Plays as one of the 3 members in a 1-3-1 strat. You can't really dive a Janna. You can't really dive a member next to the Janna either. It's just the concept that deny them from doing that. Let your side lanes push. Janna's the perfect pick.
Well, right now, Rekt is hovering Jhin and Stark the Vayne. Man, that'd be cool. It's like, you know, we've had these triple AD carry comps. Theoretically, it might happen, as Jhin could somewhat fit in. I just have to let my dreams be dreams, I think, at this stage, as Rekt is now back to a Shen option. New Shen, of course, as Stark moves back to a Lucian.
Yeah.
See what AV do to round out their comp. As Shen's going to be locked in. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it means it is going to be Shen in the top lane as well, because we do have the Alistar here for AV. Shen, he's been known to have a weaker laning phase, missing a bit of sustain from that Q in particular. Lots of questions need to be asked now. Hellions, does Ryu know how to play against it, firstly?
Yeah.
What is Ryu going to play now that Fiora's not available against the Taunt, which was the easiest way to defuse that 1v1? We don't know what Ryu is entirely capable of with his champion pool outside of Fiora GP. And Rise, which is always banned. He's got a couple tricks up his sleeve, but how diverse is he willing to go to actually win laning phase and look to split push against the Shen?
Well, the only champions that he's played so far in the OPL are Gangplank, Fiora, and Lulu, and the Fiora Lulu have been banned away as Gangplank looks to be where he's planning on defaulting to, and it looks like it is going to be Frey on that Corki in the bottom lane as Ari's going to be picked up now for Bomb there in mid. So AV wrecked. What does he decide to go with? Could possibly be the LeBlanc, could be the Zed, who knows? Could be Shen. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be a Shen. Hellions finished out their team composition. They've got Ari, the only champion on their team besides maybe, I guess, Cookie to an extent. Janna Tornado if you want to get aggressive. Crowd control doesn't exist, is what I'm saying from this Hellions lineup. Not easy to do. And I honestly, like, it may just be a hover, but I like the Morgana pick. They have no crowd control, it's just deny all of it. Nothing can hit them now. They'd be an invincible unit.
It's Destiny hovering support champions and AD carries and top laners, so not sure whether they've quite made up their mind just yet.
I think he's trolling you, Atlas.
I know. Maybe alluding to the fact that things are relatively flexible on their side, but Zed is going to be locked in, of course. The Wrecked special that he's more than happy to pick up time and time again, and we'll see how they go here. Largely physical-based comp, but there's a bit of magic damage here and there in, Shen's sword now as it comes back to him?
There's somewhat small amounts of magic damage from this AV side. What I actually look forward to the most here is that we know Zed is picked into Gangplanks because you can just kill him once you get your first item. You spike a little bit earlier and you spike harder in a 1v1 trade. And then they've got a Shen ult to ensure that it goes well, because even if it starts to look like it's going bad, choose the ultimate, keep him alive. That hasn't changed on Shen at all.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And I love that you pointed out the lack of hard CC as well. You pick Zed. What you're scared of most of the time is those big cooldowns that can really stop you in your tracks and ruin your fun. There's not as much of that available here to the Hellions, so they're going to have to play very, very smart around their Zed in the mid lane. It could be scary.
Also forces QSS itemization. A lot of interesting things need to be bought now from AV, and the damage is there. Could be reduced, and they won't have crowd control to boot, so I feel like if Hellions or AV get ahead, generally they're going to stay in that direction. So there's a very snowball-y map across the board here.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But we want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Hellions can bring it back and possibly go for that third game victory? Use that hashtag HLN win. Or if you think that Avant Garde are going to be able to take it 2-0, no problem, despite rosters. Who even cares about that? We're Avant. We're going to be able to take it. So use that hashtag AV win and let us know. Of course, if you have any other sort of things that you want to let us know, talk about your duo partners, all of that sort of stuff, use that hashtag IMOPL.
And of course, what a first game from Stark in particular.
Oh, man.
Gets a pentakill on his birthday, I will add. So happy birthday to him. He made his own present. Wrapped it himself.
Well, his team helped. Like to say, you know, they built a comp around him. That's so cute.
Yeah.
He did well, though. The made was the wrapping paper to the present that he got for his birthday. Thank you very much, Avant. It's Denian. Going to auto-attack a cow.
I know Destiny wanted to flash then.
I wanted him to flash then.
Of course, AV now just pushing in. They're going to secure some vision. This time, difference to game one is that they are grouping up and invading. Place down the lane swap vision as it is.
Yeah.
I guess now referred to.
Something really, really interesting that I want to bring up is the fact that this is the first time that we've had the new Shen in the OPL. Of course, second time that we've seen Shen. As Ejim did play that one, but that was the old one.
Yeah.
Now Malai's going to be taking the new Shen into the top lane. Heard different reports about his laning capabilities. What is your opinion?
Well, it's been known that it's weaker. That's the thing. So you're missing sustain.
So I've heard that it's better.
Your damage is higher. Okay. Sustain is weaker, and that's the trade-off. You need to...
Oh, baby. That ward, not quite in place.
Yeah. And that's the risk people run when they actually place these wards down. You might be expecting laziness. You should expect better in the Pro Leagues.
Oh, the late invade onto the duo. So they are going to get over here. Shelby in with a fair bit of damage, but they don't have the CC just yet. They are going to be able to at least lock down the big Krug. Shelby helps Stark pick that one up. So experience advantage so far for the AV bottom lane.
And I feel like maybe Hellions won't know that it was an experience advantage because they saw Chelby there. You might assume that Chelby took it. But he's going to take the red buff. Will be perfectly fine because he is Graves after all.
And he also has the machete this time.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it's a different jungler, which might be why. But the immediate level 2 causes Helion's bottom lane to show respect. So net gain pretty much everywhere here.
Yeah, Destiny, of course, not quite at that level 2 just yet. Let's see how this top lane goes. As Taunt comes in, bit of extra damage there from Malaz as he's got the extra attack speed as well after that Q connect. I like New Shen. I just feel like he's a little bit more interactive, you know? And that W is just oppressive.
Yeah, look, you do press the same amount of buttons, but definitely much more interactive or mechanically intensive. So you need to make sure after you taunt that you're behind them, so the the sword can go through them, and you get that bonus damage and attack speed with all of your auto attacks. And we're seeing what a Shen is capable of in a good way at the moment. Of course, the wave clear, not ever going to be a strong point of Shen's. The trading at the moment is the strong point, and he just doesn't have the sustain to deal with what is going to be any other top laner, of Gangplank in particular though. Pretty good matchup for Malaz.
Having a look at the mid lane at the moment is wrecked. Losing out a little bit as far as the trades are concerned, but picking up a fair bit of the minions. And the bottom lane is going just fine. Just people hanging out. Of course, that extra experience advantage now equalized by the Hellions. Destiny's going to hit level 3. Denian gets knocked up. I spoke a little bit too soon. Eye of the Storm going to keep Denian alive for now as Destiny's taking the brunt of the focus. Switching over to Stark quite nicely there as Frey. So healthy now in this trade.
Yeah, absolutely. This bottom lane already starting to show some control. Corki Janna, pretty hard to mess with.
Yeah.
I will say. And AV between Destiny and Stark. Destiny now moving to the support role. This is his first game this split, I believe, that we've seen him in support. He was mid last game.
He was 80 before that.
Yeah, 80 every game before that. And it's just actually standard laning. Standard slow pace start here from both of these teams. No level 4 dives to be seen just yet.
Yeah, no crazy shenanigans just yet as Malaz still pushing up here in this top lane, but Ryu more than happy to have a wave heading towards him. We'll see exactly when this game is going to take off on either direction. Now the taunt's going to come in. Ryu actually, Grasp of the Undying coming down. Malaz actually with a lot of extra damage. That magic tick really doing some work here for this new Shen.
Yeah, also placing the zone around him to deny a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Every time he trades, it's forcible, and you don't lose anything in response. So it's good play here from Malaz, showing he knows what the new Shen is capable of, at least thus far. A lot of the stuff remains the same though, the taunt and the ult in particular. So we'll see how he continues.
Yep, Chelby backing here on the top side as Malaz does have all of his energy. Could possibly go in for a Shadow Dash if he wants to, but not going to pick anything up just yet.
Yeah.
Oh, Chelby actually stopped his back. He's interesting.
Kind of wants it. He does kind of want it. Malaz is letting the wave push back to him. So if Ryu tries anything cute, you have to remember with like a 12 stack of minions, you start to get overconfident, or at least place a ward.
Oh, he is going to base check as he...
Oh, no!
Oh, no, the taunt flash didn't quite work. End of the line comes down. They might have enough damage. Chelby still wants it. He's just tanking up the turret as Chelby picks up the aggro and somehow gets out of turret range. That was so close. Cookie flashes over the wall, picks up the answering kill with, in fact, just a Prey Seeker. But, man, that was weird.
Chelby does super well to kite around the edges of that turret and the aggro. Of course, timing with turret auto attacks, it can change a little bit sporadically. Cookie is there right on time, though, to ensure a trade. And they do take him down in response. So a 1-for-1. But it goes to show just how far ahead Malaz and Chelby seem to be. Even with the taunt missing, which honestly was the kill.
Yeah.
They force a trade here. Just gets out by dashing. You can see the direction he dashed. Immediately out of the aggro of the turret. And there's Cookie.
Yeah, nice positioning from Cookie as AV have shoved this bottom lane completely. Ryu and Malaz still fighting here, but you can see level 6 gained by both, and it has worked out quite nicely here for Malaz, who's got his Balmy Cinder. You mentioned wave clear being an issue. Probably wants to grab that Sunfire Cape as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Have to at least keep it at the Balmy Cinder. Work towards his next items. Of course, we have seen a couple of unique item builds with ZZ Rots, the Banner of Commands. Yeah, pretty good at keeping Ryu busy, we'll say, if he goes for the Rot Portal. And you can leave it at a Balmy Cinder, honestly, if you want.
Yeah, we have seen a lot do that. Of course, you can utilize the extra armor from the Senpai cape, so building that up earlier against Ryu would make a bit of sense to me.
Yeah, it's not a bad decision by any means. It's just that there are other creative options available to you.
I like it.
The best thing about the Balmy Cinder. Yeah, you can.
It's all about the juicy options. As Chelby is now making his way towards his enemy jungle, but level 6 has already been claimed here by Cookie. Chelby not going to find anything while he's lurking around. Bomb might be the next target. Rect has hit level 7. Deathmark, of course, available, but he hasn't been back to buy.
Yeah. Well, neither of them have been back. And Bomb, honestly, has been doing really well. He's found himself 15 CS ahead.
Yeah.
In what has essentially been a 1v1. Shelby kind of pokes his head around. Cookie had a bit of invisible pressure, knowing that he was topside after the kill onto Shelby. Starts to add up to smaller details, but Bomb overall has actually had control of this lane, and you have to give him credit here. He's doing well.
It certainly is. Rect actually missing a lot of that farm underneath the turret. As Frey's going to get headbutt pulverized. Destiny finds his way in. Valkyrie going to be used as the GPL goes down. Destiny may be in trouble. Doesn't have the Unbreakable Will just yet. Stark just hitting level 6. Now has the culling. As Bomb's going for the dive underneath this turret. Rect is going to get hit by the charm. That looks almost too easy now as AV managed to pick up a kill in the top lane.
And that's absolutely because it was too easy. Bomb starting to get ahead and feeling confident. Rekt didn't even use his flash. He popped the ultimate to try and get out and pays for that. And that was honestly just Bomb recognizing exactly where Rekt's ultimate lands him. Then he's behind you, hits the charm, gets out safely. And that's just well executed mechanically from Bomb. But Rekt overstayed. And of course, we are seeing what happened in the top lane. Ryu, rightly so, getting a lot of attention because Malaz is controlling him. Well executed dive puts Shelby 2-1.
Yeah, keeping the gangplank down, also another strategy that we've seen utilized. But this Ahri could become a problem. Shelby now taking down his red buff.
I mean, Ahri's already going to become a problem. Looking at how AV will play the strategies in their mid game, Rekt will go to deal with Ryu. Ryu's behind, so sure, Rekt could still be okay, regardless of how he goes in laning phase. But what is a Shen going to do against an Ahri? Nothing. So Shen will probably split in the other lane. And what are the rest of the team meant to do?
Wow, that was so beautifully done by Rekt. Dodges everything from Bomb. Manages to trade in his favor. Bomb now just holding the extra spell vamp from his Q, and it would just be fine. But that was cute play.
Absolutely. Rekt, mechanically quite a strong player. Destiny doesn't let people recall. That's what we're learning right now, yeah. It's a bit interesting. He's making it work. Of course, they got out-traded last time they tried it. This time they stopped the Janna. And honestly, all things considered, though, Rekt is mechanically quite sound. He's playing this middle lane as well as he can. He's still being out-traded by Bomb. The farm's still going in Bomb's favor. And it's an entire Morello Nomicon and about to be a blue buff compared to the components of a Ghostblade.
Well, Malaz has actually found Ryu once again here on this top side. Look at the damage from this Shen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that high, but at least he shrugs off anything that Ryu tries to take into this 1v1. But bullets on a ninja. Doesn't even matter.
Well,
do you reckon he's more or less of a ninja?
He's less of a ninja. He has a sword that stays in one spot. He's not even hidden in bushes.
That is true, and the fact that he's a ninja with a taunt just makes no sense. It's like, you don't, as a ninja, you don't tell people to attack you, like, ever.
The Blanc's more of a ninja, honestly, but anyway.
Yeah, it's a good big. Yeah, looking for Rekt now as well. The Shadow is, of course, on cooldown. The ultimate goes in. Rekt's actually looking for something. Stand United comes down. Bomb! He's got the ultimate ticking. Malaz! Not even necessary as Rekt picks up the kill. Cookie now in trouble. Nice flash to get out of the headbutt. Pulverizes EV. Turn it around in the mid lane.
Ahri and Zed in these one-on-one situations where they don't actually realize they're not one-on-one a lot of the time. But mechanically, Bomb, he misplayed. And mechanically, Rekt, he played it well. He got out with his life. And that's the back and forth that we're going to see between these two. It's the trial and error, honestly, of these 1v1s that they'll continue to have. Even if the rest of the team is there, you'll find that Zed and Ahri, they're going to be trying to hit each other. And that's where it starts to go a bit awry. In this particular instance, Bomb, even after a successful dive, showing he knows how Zed works, he misplays. And Rekt is back in it.
Yeah, really, really nicely played. And I really love this matchup of mid laners as well, because they're two mid laners here in the OPL that just love laning phase. They just want to fight each other, and that's all they're really thinking about. We heard Froskerin talking about it at length. The fact that Bomb just sort of never really wants to leave his lane and create pressure elsewhere. Just wants to dominate that one, and Rekt is fairly similar.
Rector likes to dominate his lane. He likes to control the minions before he starts to disappear. I feel like Bomb just actually sets up a tent and just stays anywhere near that tent within like a 1,000 radius. So there's a little bit of conflicting differences.
Well, nice trade there from Frey as Phosphorus Bomb not going to quite find it, but Stark does have to be careful.
The differences between the Kalista and the Lucian game as well aren't even this bottom lane, though they're still in trouble. It's more the amount of pressure that Avant are putting down on this bottom lane. It doesn't exist anymore. Chelby is looking top. They're showing that they can play different styles here, AV, but they're sacrificing this bottom lane instead.
Yeah, and Malaz and Chelby, they are going to be able to take down Harold and see what they use the extra pushing power to do, whether it's going to be shoved down the top lane or maybe look towards mid lane one more time. Stand United, 3/4 left of that cooldown as Malaz is going to pick up the buff.
I mean, from what we've seen so far, it should be just push the top lane, focus the GP, get him down, and put him into a long lane, then look to Zed to dive him and keep control of vision on the top side of the map. Hellions, their reactive play will be very important in a scenario like this. How will they deal with Avant's pressure if that is what they choose to make happen? Cookie looks like he already understands that. He's clearing the vision.
Yeah, you can see Chelby, Wrecked as well here in the mid lane, trying to stay off screen as much as possible. Just so that Bomb kept on his toes.
Not even sure that's the reason. I feel like it's solely because he knows that Cookie's nearby. It was ping.
Ah, that's a good point.
When he was at the pink ward, the top side tribal. Shen's teleported bottom.
Yeah, looking for it here as Frey's trying to turn this one around. Gangplank ult's in there. Phosphorus Bomb down as well, but Frey may have overextended. The ultimate comes in from Denian, but is it going to be enough as Malaz right on top of him? The turret does fall down in the mid lane as Chelby might be able to pick up the kill on the Corki. The ultimate goes down. I mean, the knock-up, from Destiny. As Cookie's going to find his way in, but nothing gained here from AV, and they lose the turret in mid.
Yeah, they actually don't get a single thing, Avant, from that teleport besides summoner spells. Frey and Denian, granted, not really capable of staying in this lane after that. It doesn't mean that AV can siege and make a trade either. They actually have to recall. And honestly, Hellions, they come out ahead from that, even if it's a small amount.
Well, mid lane out of turret as well has been seeing a lot of focus from both of these sides if we have anything to go on from game number one. So, fantastically played from Hellions to make sure that they can disengage. They do have Janna, the disengage specialist, and Denian, the Janna lord of the Hellions.
I guess we call him a Janna specialist and by default a disengage specialist.
Yeah, which is so strange given his history as an AD carry player.
Yeah, the I have flash, I'm using it forwards method.
Yeah.
Less effective on Janna, so of course he's reinvented his style as he has reinvented his position on the map.
Exactly. Well, Chelby looking for Bomb now as well. Does manage to land the smoke screen. The flash from Bomb was ridiculously well done, with the blind being included. How about Pulverize, though, not going to be able to find it. Destiny now has to slink back towards the bottom lane.
Yep, forcing the flash, though, unlocks Wrecked and his confidence potentially in this lane.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to kill an Ahri with the ultimate getting 3 dashes, but nonetheless, it's one of the 4 that is now removed. One with the longest cooldown.
Very true. And the most instant.
Yeah.
Bomb now just going to be able to clear out some puppies, head back towards the lane.
Could also mean he chose to flash opposed to ult. So prioritizing the kill threat that comes from the ult. Got 3 dashes instead of 4, maybe it's worthwhile.
That's a good point. We'll see how he plays it. Now that Wrecked has made its way back towards the lane. Swiftness boost now completed as well as a couple of long swords as Cookie's looking just to hold this wave as Ryu makes his way back up.
And you can see Shen is still the same old Shen. They're honestly just quality of life changes and a bit of a rework around the cube. His wave clear still not amazing. Still needs to be noted that what now a Trinity Force has done for Ryu. Should be confidently able to clear waves, deny turrets from going down. And it's on Chelby to see if he wants to make something happen top. Honestly, it's on Chelby to make the whole map happen, not just top.
Well, you can see Frey happy to do battle against the AV bottom lane now. This Corki well and truly at his power spike. The flash comes in though. There's the Stand United. Frey's going to get knocked back out of the piercing light there, unfortunately. But Stark is taking so much damage. Cannon Barrage not going to quite be enough as Chelby's in here as well. Denian's going to die, and Frey going to be the next target. Are they going to be able to find it there as the ultimate comes in? Cookie now definitely at a man disadvantage here on the bottom side. King's going down as Bomb and Wrecked are making their way in. AV just tunneling onto this Rek'Sai as Destiny now turning his focus You can see in comes Lucian back for more as the taunt goes down. Rekt picks up his second kill of the game. And AB now still want to go. The flash forward, Deathmark comes down. Cookie flashes out of the way, but not going to die as the pressure is well and truly on. And AB think that, all right, we got a power spike now. Let's just act on it.
Cookie does well to live, but the major difference is that Shen doesn't need his teleport to get into these fights. Keeps members alive, and it's easy work from Avant to ensure they get all of these kills on the board. No amount of disengage is going to save Denian from a situation like that. Bomb! Honestly, it was the communication of Avant that actually caught Ari out of position. Doesn't have his flash to save him, and used the ultimate. One of them got cancelled and caught him out, and then the Taunter followed up and he just died within the duration. Rekt not even needing the ult, but Rekt pinged time and again, says Ari's here, kill Ari. 100% coordination from AV, they take him down. No flank able to come out from Hellions.
Big minion wave. Bomb is now going to be able to pick up in the mid lane, but communication issues, it's not something that we've actually spoken about so much this time, but it's definitely been a theme with the Hellions.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Hellions respected where Bomb's positioned, or Bomb didn't respect the call and was positioned too aggressively. 32 CS ahead working towards the Zonias. That's a strong Ari, but an Ari in a 1v4 situation is never really that strong.
That is a very good point. But the gold incredibly even at the moment, as AV just able to pick up a little bit more farm very recently, but it was basically dead even. Hellions now looking for the Rift Herald.
You know, Shen's like the pick into Hellions. They have shown, and it was mentioned on the analyst desk, that Hellions have got one style. They want a split push. They want a 1-3-1 if it works for them, if they don't have a kill mid lane. That's exactly what they're going to execute on every single time, but between a GP and a Shen, who split pushes better? I mean, Shen's never going to be out of lane. He's always going to be in a side lane. Can ult one way, teleport back if need be, or can just use one and save the other. If Ryu ever answers, he can't split push.
Over the top here, takes half of the health off Frey as AV all turn up at the same time. Cannon Barrage down one more time, but not going to find too much more as Chelby just moving all the way forward. Denian's going to die. Collateral damage comes in. Chelby wants more of the Cannon Barrage. Now Hellions setting up for a re-engage as the reset comes in. Rekt gets immediately picked. No, not quite dead just yet as Deathmark comes in. Stand United down as well. Zonias is there, and Rekt is going to survive it. Bomb then gets knocked up, and Chelby gets the kill. The coordination from AB is looking beautiful as Chelby's just going to knock all the way over the door. And Frey is going to have to get out of there. Ryu now trying to find what he can, but Malaya's
so
tanky.
He's not going to go down. No way, but Chelby needs to be a little bit careful.
Not a lot of mana left as Cookie's now looking for it. Flash is going to have to be used. Stark now finds his way in as Destiny gets a fantastic triple knockup. The ultimate comes down from Stark, but it's a great heal out of Frey to keep everyone alive. They do get Destiny. Can they get some more? As Hellions are going to back away, but man, that was messy.
That was super rough here, Avant. It looked like they were going to turn it back around. Rekt had almost no right living in that particular engage where they caught him out of position. He does get the Shen ultimate, and it felt like they just got a pick. They were looking for more, and then they continued to fight. They continued to trade, and someone had to die for it in the end. Destiny sacrificing himself shows that he's still a support player.
Yep.
And AV, it's not a bad trade by any means, but it still could have probably been better.
Well, Rekt, you can see itemizing now for the 1v1 a little bit more as Blade of the Ruined King, Blade of the Ruined King coming in next. We've seen less and less of it.
It's hard to consider an efficient item when you think about the fact that you can just use damage, basically, amplify yourself. W's percentage based, and Blade of the Ruined King doesn't give a whole lot of AD as a raw value.
Yep.
But the Blade of the Ruined King, obviously you can use the active once you've popped your ultimate. Gives you a bit of extra sustain with that health back and move speed, most importantly, against an Ari. There's a lot of merit to it. It's never a bad choice.
Whoa, nice double knock up there from Destiny as the fight started off immediately. Cookie able to get himself in there, but Destiny just showing that, yeah, I got my buttons and I can press them.
Yep. Of course, the Janna Tornado, the biggest deal there, disengaging, making sure that no one was able to follow up the Atlas Star. And this is the real battle. And I say that a bit of jest. Of course, it's a Shen after all, but this is actually the real battle. Because if Shen can keep GP down, then Shen has a lot more he can do, and there's no way for a Gangplank to stop his teleports.
Yeah. Well, we'll see exactly what Malaz is going to be able to get done. Of course, 7 out of the 8 kills he's managed to be a part of this game. Shen doing a bunch of work right now. Yeah, is that going to be a Titanic Hydra? Malaz? It's probably going to be a Sterix Gauge, isn't it?
Well, it could well be.
I'd love that.
Well, like Titanic Hydra could be because Sterix Gauge doesn't build out of a giant spell. So
Yeah.
another health crystal. So there's a chance.
Yeah. I'd love it. That'd be really, really cool. But we'll see exactly what Malaz wants to do. Of course, will help his split push quite a lot.
That's one of the easier. No, much better option.
Or a banner of command. Or both.
Well, I'm thinking into Rio. Okay, I'm thinking about
yes.
the game. One gives armor.
Yeah. Okay. Wasn't Aziza or Portal give both?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the other one gives them armor.
And yeah, I just need to stop. Okay, well, Bomb, he has of course completed both the Morellonomicon and the Zhonya's Hourglass from previously. I've actually been back and purchased any more items for quite some time though. His Deadman's Plate is now done on Cookie. He sort of got his baseline items for this wreck side. And you see Chubby moving towards that Sterix. Malaz maybe in trouble. The knockup comes in from almost all fronts as now he has to flash out of the way. The W's down. And Malaz is going to die. Bomb's going to pick up the kill with the ultimate. And using the Stand United was basically unnecessary, I have a feeling. And Ryu just going to clear out this mid lane. Very, very effective.
Yeah, they managed to deny any mid turret going down and they trade the top turret. Lots of positives here for Hellions at this point in the game. And AV not respecting. Hellions are continuing to push.
Yeah, this inhibitor turret is in so much trouble now as Rekt is making his way over. They're pinging out the cow that's going to make his way in, and Hellions say, well, we're not going to overstay our welcome. Destiny looking for more as Lucian was able to get back to base. But Destiny, nothing to happen from that one. It just blows the ultimate.
Just a giant hiccup across the board here from Avant. Not respecting that Hellions could have continued to push. It's a mindset of, I just need one last wave. Just one more wave. It's never the wave that you want. You start to lose more of your base in response. And wow, it's a big mistake from Avant. They can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it not moving Rekt out of this mid lane early enough here to try and answer the Ryu split? Or do they have the perfect answer in Malaz and AV just need to play a little bit smarter around this match?
Well, it's a question of what they actually prefer. I mean, Malaz can deal with Ryu quite effectively. He is finding himself a bit behind, though, especially with that farm difference.
Oh, hello! The Rocket picks up the Dragon, and Hellions say, well, thank you very much for our first. That's, yeah, fine. You guys prepped it quite nicely, and we'll take it and move on.
And it just goes from bad to worse for Avant Garde in this game. Maybe they want Destiny back in the mid lane.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing.
But I don't think it is, but again, Hellions, they're just going from strengths now. They've got 2 big items on their GP. His split pushing, even his team fighting, is dangerous because he's doing a lot of damage. Zonya's on bomb, able to deal with any threat. Oh my god.
Yeah, Rekt is in so much trouble. By that, I mean he's dead. Teleport going to get cancelled here by Malaz. He's now not going to have that option. Shelby's making his way around, yeah. They're going to try and get rid of the gangplank.
But they'll lose bottom if they continue to harass Ryu. Because Hellions, again, they're a Jana Corki. They take down these minion waves and turrets like they're nothing. Like a hot knife through butter, honestly. And AV finally have to start respecting this.
The Hellion Death Squad just moving around the map, and they're getting rid of all of the structures. Stark makes his way in. Destiny with a decent knockup, but Bomb's here now as well. Cookie wants to find the knockup, but it may actually be an overstay. As Frey as well does have to get out. Shelby around the back, and he's going to make things okay here for AV. The Hellions not going to lose anything. They are going to back away.
They're just finding themselves almost leaps and bounds ahead. And Ryu on this GP is one of the biggest deals, honestly. He's a monster.
Yeah.
240 CS opposed to the 180. What is going to be Titanic Hydra? You have to question what they're actually looking to do here, AV. Why not send Rekt over there earlier with that one item spike to deal with Ryu? Have the Shen ult around and try and run a 1-3-1 strategy themselves. Is it because you're playing Hellions at their own game? That comes down to a drafting fault above all else.
Well, Bomb's going to take away the Gromp from Cookie, which is quite upsetting. Destiny going to get pressured out of the enemy jungle. But yeah, AV just look like they're not playing with the same level of knowledge of what they want to do in this game.
They just look confused.
Yeah.
They're not making proper decisions. And I mean, finally, they're starting to threaten the split push, but the one time we saw Rekt attempt to do it, he got killed by the special delivery from Corki. And it's just going from bad to worse here for AV. Their next decision's the vital one, though. If they make another mistake, it could be an inhibitor, and it could start to bleed their turrets and their base in its entirety.
Well, Spooky Ghosts go out. AD carry and mid are going to be detected as Titanic Hydra now completed by Malaz, and Destiny has his back stopped now in the brush. Cookie gonna find the knock-up, and the Cow, he uses the ultimate. Massive knock-up on 3 members. This could be the turnaround here for AV. Malaz already gets rid of Frey. So much damage now down as Denian. He had to use the ult to try and disengage, but it's not gonna be enough. Cookie flashing out of the way, but Stark wants it. The shutdown comes in on the Rek'Sai, and Hellions, no answer now to AV's hard engage from the Destiny bait.
Destiny hits a massive flash pulverize. Malaz follows that with a taunt. And AV, they do find themselves at a point of power with their team fighting. Need to respect, though. Can't see Hellions.
Yeah, the Cannon Barrage comes down. Massive barrel damage onto the minions. Ryu says, yeah, no, you ain't see.
No. GP with those 2 big items makes life very difficult for the AV crew. We are going to see this team fight again, and Destiny forced to pop the ultimate. Actually just gets the perfect engage. Hellions, I'm going to say gifting them a silver platter, essentially, as the only thing keeping Hellions in this was the Zonias from Bomb denying the taunt out of Malaz. The rest of the team, they just get crumbled down. So good from AV. Their team fighting is their point of power, and against Hellions, who they show they can either split push or team fight, could be confining them to one option.
Yeah, well, AV, they now know that that's what they need to do. Shelby trying to clear out some vision here around the Baron pit. Maybe once again that the Baron could be the option here for AV. Worked for them in game number 1. We'll see whether it can for game number 2. Teleports up across the board. Both top laners with that one stand united. Still about a third to go as far as that cooldown.
There's 2 lines of thought for this, though, Atlas. It's that Hellions are playing Avant's game on blue side, and it worked. We know that it worked, but how will Avant react to it this time in response?
Yeah.
Because they know exactly how it works. The problem is, look at top lane. That's an open inhibitor and a giant stack of minions.
Destiny gonna get charmed. Just uses his ultimate to get out of the way. Cookie may be caught out here. Goes down to about half health. Looking for the re-engage now as Denian uses the ultimate, keeping everyone healthy. Massive damage from the Zed there onto everyone as it's just disengaged City.
But they're on the wrong side of the map. Avant need to get to that inhibitor. Thankfully they do.
Yeah, zoned away from the inhibitors. Rekt may actually need to use the Shadow to get out of the way. Does so. He's going to be okay. It's Destiny now moving through that ultimate. Now, of course, on cooldown. As Malaz going to get knocked up out of the Shadow Dash. Now moving in. We'll see whether AV can start anything up or whether Hellions can pressure down this inhibitor.
Yeah.
Looks like they don't want the team fight.
And let the games begin, right? Back and forth, utilizing the Baron control that you get on the blue side of the map. Trying to find objectives and looking for picks as Malaz is about to find 3 of them.
Yeah, Charm lands first. Malaz actually getting melted down much quicker than he would like. The shield comes in, but is it going to be enough? Frey's going to die. The death mark is now on Denian, and he is going to fall down. Zed picks up that kill, and AV just moves straight to this Baron. You can see they're trying to make a play here, but Bomb, he's going to go back to base.
This
because
feels
not a whole lot of
desperate.
health. This is really, really interesting as Cannon Barrage comes down one more time. Stark, does he have enough damage now? He's right in the front line as the barrel is going to secure the kill onto the Cow. And AV may have to back away.
It feels desperate from Avant to go for that Baron at all. They had no reason to. They made 2 good picks. They just need to consolidate vision and start to work themselves back into this game. Instead, they play against a GP ultimate and Ahri ultimate at the Baron in a very confined area. It's just a big mistake.
It's just a weird game, Rusty. Real weird. This distortion has been completed now on Malaz. He's going to have that teleport and flash available a little bit more readily. But Hellions now moving around, looking at starting off the Dragon, grabbing whatever they can on this map. As the reset is put in place by AV. And Ryu is just looking so big now. Barrel's going to go off. Not going to find anyone here as Shelby. Things might be caught out of position. Sterek's gauge goes off, but the Stand United, will it be enough? No, it's not. No Shen to arrive in this fight right now, and that is the jungler dead. This could mean Baron for Hellions and possibly the endgame push, because that top door is open.
That charm from Bomb was sick as well. It made sure that Shelby was stuck near the team. Had his flash up. Couldn't even use it to get to safety. So it's just really well played again from this Ari. And Hellions, now they do move to that Baron. AV again, desperate. Can they stop it?
Stark does have the culling over the top, but they're a little bit split here on the side of AV. Destiny looking for it. Another massive knockup comes in as Deathmark comes down as well. Malaz looking for some taunts, but doesn't quite find it. Ryu, massive, just destroys the Zed, and the shutdown comes in. Not a whole lot of damage left now for AV as Malaz trying to get over the top and do something, but he's the last man standing. The Shen runs straight into a cannon barrage. Triple kill comes down for Bomb, and Hellions are taking us to game number 3 by the looks of things, because they got no one dead, and it's just Shelby.
But they choose to go mid lane instead of going top to the open inhibitor. Shows with this much time left, they want to work around having a minion wave, at least get 2 inhibitors. There's a very real chance that they can try and end this game. See if they can. Shelby.
Oh, the charm. Not going to be enough as Joey flashes out of the way, but there may be enough minions here for Hellions to finish this game. They've got so much damage with Frey and Ryu there. Multiple Trinity Forces, multiple procs. As the Nexus now at half health, Ryu just moving around this one. They are going to be able to pick it up. And Hellions take down game number 2. 10,000 gold lead, even though the scoreline as far as those kills are concerned, still 12-12. Nicely played by Hellions to find their way back into the series.
Absolutely. They bring it back to a 1-1 situation. Yeah. And after that game 1, it didn't feel like it was going to do that. But Hellions, they do buy back.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting game. And I really want to hear what our analysts have to say. So let's throw it over to the desk and get their opinions on what just happened.
Oh, thanks, Atlas. Thanks, Atlas. I want to know what we have to say as well. That was beautiful. But they did come back. Hellions able to get the 1-1 in a pretty surprising turnaround here. Want to bring it back to something that we mentioned. You know, we didn't like the double scaling composition. Instead, get an aggressive mid laner. Hellions do exactly that and just change the tempo of the game.
Yeah, the pressure change there from Bomb makes honestly all the difference there. He had a great lane up against Rekt, winning the lane effectively with a little bit of help, but not really too much. It's definitely a tricky matchup that I think for analysts swings back and forth. For me, I think the way Bomb played it, he had initiative the whole time in the lane, and it shows. Bomb is just way better when he's actually online earlier.
Yeah, looked completely like a different player when he's on a proactive mid laner. He got advantage in the mid, had the 1v1 kill. He was able to translate that pressure elsewhere in the map. So looked so much better on Ari. Please, Bomb, continue to play Ari.
Yeah, it certainly did look to be the case. And the other thing it allowed is Ryu to continue to scale up in one of those side lanes. We mentioned the fact that Shen did a good job of holding him down early. Karsus kept going back towards it, but I really would have liked to see that switch of Zed into the side lane, because the longer Gangplank does what Gangplank was doing in that game, it just becomes a ticking time bomb.
I mean, that's the thing, right? We've seen Zed into Gangplank quite a few times now, but when you don't have the items, you can't fight the Gangplank, and that was the issue there. We've seen Choo-Choos do it successfully, but when you're behind in lane, which is kind of what happened there in the mid for Rekt, you just can't afford to go try and outsplit push Gangplank.
I think this speaks to kind of a larger problem with Avant, and it's their mid-game shot calling. We've seen this coming back-to-back. Now, they did win the first game, but kind of in that mid-game when they traded the mid-tier tower and top tower for bot tower was the incorrect call. This time, again, they just look so disorganized in mid-game. Again, you didn't have the Gangplank into the Zed matchup. They also had a rush on top versus mid, and they lost it because
they lost both.
Yeah, because Gangplank was able to stand there, which allowed Hellions to open up that top inhibitor. So it's like they lose all direction as soon as that first tier tower goes down.
Yeah, it certainly did look to be the case. You know, they lost the inhibitor turret so early in the game, and it meant they kind of had to force. I want to pull up a replay on your screen. It was really significant for me because this shows what Hellions using Gangplank properly look like. It starts off bad, but Ryu turns this around.
Yeah, and Rusty really talked about it too, kind of during the cast, and it's just you never really want to group up in small choke points against a Gangplank, and it just speaks to the power of that. So we can go ahead and roll the clip. Okay, so Destiny actually does fairly decent right here, but I think that they burn a lot of their cooldowns in chasing the Hellions down. And as soon as the Baron comes down, you already got 2 picks. Why would you ever turn towards the Baron? Because you're effectively still fighting a 4v4 at this point, or a 4v5, because the Baron is acting one of your members. And then it's just grouping up barrel Gangplank ultimate, so much damage. I think level 1, that ultimate's doing like 600 damage if you're standing it for 8 seconds. So this late in the game, it's really just going to pound you.
Yeah, and that wasn't a level 1 ultimate. That's double upgraded, a very strong Gangplank ultimate. Tier 2 mid lane was still up. That's what I want to point out. You know, they've already inefficiently traded. You're going against a zone control comp with an Ahri, with a Zed, lots of CC there. And it just, Baron is not the area to fight. And hey, we've got the last team fight for you. Let's just prove that it's not the area to fight.
Yeah, so let's roll this one out and see what Hellions can do now that they actually have a strong lead here. So we're going to get things going. You can see Hellions happy to sit on the Baron. Don't need to worry too much. Avant, they know they have to do something here, but there's no good choices, unfortunately, for Avant Hellions. They commit, they take quite a lot of damage. Destiny has a decent initiation. Frey does the right thing, goes safe into the backline. Wreck gets chunked, coming in trying to take it out. Cookie smites the Baron. Clean up crew on the AD carry because Avant are all grouped in towards the Baron pit. And it's just easy stuff here for Hellions. They already have a massive gold lead. They just got the Baron. All you have to do is play cleanup, and that's exactly what they do.
But this is the difference between using Baron effectively and throwing with Baron. So, I mean, a lot of teams throw on Baron, but what does that even mean? It's when you go to the Baron and you have a lead, and you're not necessarily looking for the Baron, but you're looking for the team fight, because you know this is where your comp fights. You're on the choke point. You can use that massive AoE, as opposed to using the Baron simply because you don't understand how to set up or identify proper objectives on the map, being the towers in the case of Avant. They need to understand that we don't just want the Baron simply because we want to lure them into a fight and that's the only way that we can think we can win. Make your pick, set up your vision, prioritize vision as an objective, not just Dragon and Baron, and try sieging.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And the further sentiment for me is prioritize whether you want to take the Baron or you want to take the team fight. 3 members of Avant dive into the deep part of the pit against a Janna who's healing the whole team, as opposed for killing the 2 people on the outside of the team fight.
I think for me, it just comes back to Avant's biggest strength is apparently also their biggest weakness. This team never stops fighting. They always look for a fight when they want to win. They win games when they play aggressive. Hellions did a good job this game of keeping them down and making sure they couldn't get the tempo going. And when Avant can't get the ball rolling, they always devolve back into fighting to try and win the game, and that's exactly what happened in that game.
Yeah, it certainly looked like this 5v5. If Avant can degrade the game to a 5v5, they look like they're going to win, but that game was in the lanes a lot of the time.
But there are ways to fight and win the game without doing it on objectives. The way that the vision game has changed, particularly because there's no more stealth wards, it's all pink wards, means that it's 5 hits and everyone sees the ward. So everyone's going to go in and try to kill it. It opens up so many opportunities for skirmishes, and that's where Avant need to be fighting. You need to view vision as an objective, not just Dragon and Baron.
Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to do it, guys, because we have game 3 right around the corner, 3.5, and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.